common feedback point on marked assignments is your writing needs to be more critical. If this is something that has affected you, then you've come to the right place. In this video, we're going to look at how to make your work more critical in approach. The first thing to say about critical writing is that it really takes time to develop this skill. Unlike referencing, where there's a set of rules, we can only really give you guidance as to how to improve your critical writing. An improvement in critical academic writing can only really be made by stepping back from your work and really considering the subject in hand. With practice, this should get easier each time you complete assignments of this nature. Probably the most helpful way of explaining what critical writing is to look at what it isn't first. Descriptive writing is what we are trying to avoid. This is when a piece of writing simply deals with the facts of a subject. There may be times when you will need to do this in your work, and especially if you see words like state and identify in a question in an assignment brief. However, many times, as you will have seen, there are words like evaluate, analyze, critically discuss in an assignment brief. And this is where you will get the big marks on your assignments. To address questions like these, you will need to show off higher order thinking skills. In these cases, you'll be expected to provide an answer that shows that you have thought about the issues you've been reading about and that you can step into the academic debate and present a viewpoint of your own.
At this stage, students often find critical writing to be quite daunting, but it's important to remember that you use these critical thinking skills in everyday life. For example, if you're buying a new phone or a new car, you don't just buy the first one that you see. Oftentimes, you'll look at other options, you'll weigh your choices, look at reliable reviews, and make an informed decision. This is the same critical thinking skills that you'll use when you're writing critically at university. In order to write critically, you must read critically. As mentioned in our critical reading and writing video, make sure that you read first and write later. This puts you in a position where you'll be better informed about the topic, better informed about the relationships between the literature, and ready to back up the claims that you make in your writing. Structuring and planning your writing is important for all types of writing at university, but this becomes even more crucial for critical writing. You need to make sure that your arguments are in a logical order and building towards answering the assessment brief. If you are looking for guidance on structuring your writing, visit our top tips for structure video or our academic writing video and webpage.
Remember that in critical writing paragraphs, you want to avoid the approach of just reeling off what each author has said in their research. Rather, you want to be guiding the reader through your thought process about a particular topic. This critical analysis is done by critiquing literature and identifying relationships between literature. For instance, how and why authors may agree or disagree on a topic. You can do this in a number of ways. Are there any underlying trends in the research or areas where there is some inconsistency? Using linking words like similarly, likewise, or in contrast can help show how the ideas you mention relate, overlap, or differ. What do you want the reader to notice about any research you have referred to? Can you make any criticisms about the research done or the conclusions reached by the author? Remember that in the sense of critical writing, being critical does not always have to be expressing negative comments, but can be positive comments too. By addressing all of the above, you are finding your own voice and producing a more critical approach to the task. Once you have a critical analysis of sources, you must take a step back from the relationships you have identified between literature and make a main point on its impact or importance in the overall topic. This is where critical synthesis comes in. If critical analysis is identifying how literature relates, critical synthesis is the overall point you can make based on these relationships.
Critical synthesis is the moment where you can demonstrate your understanding of the significance of the literature that you've discussed. These are the strongest and most distinct statements in your critical writing. Taken together, moments of critical synthesis build to answer your assessment question. And these must be based on the literature that you've discussed in each paragraph. Remember that critical synthesis is your crucial moment to be critical and to situate yourself within the literature, to be clear that you're answering the assignment question in the assessment brief. If there's one thing that can help to keep your critical writing structured and easy to follow, it's using the PEAS model. You may remember this from our other resources. The last two letters of the PEAS model, A and S, are for analysis and so what. These are your moments to introduce critique. If you get lost, write with PEAS. If you're looking to further develop your critical writing skills, you can always make an appointment with an academic skills advisor or visit our resources on our academic skills webpage.